So what happens when your LARP session gets out of hand and you run around throwing cloth balls at people screaming, "Lightning bolt! Oh, lightning bolt!" Everyone dies of embarrassment, including you. Alright, so this is one of my more silly ideas. I'm not taking this one very seriously. If you want the TLDW version, then no, I do not recommend you ever try to kill Eternal Dreamers using lightning balls. Thank you for clicking on the video, and have a nice rest of your day. Now, if you're a bit curious as to how all this went down, well, let's talk brass tacks. In the Eternal Dream scenario, you have two special consumables, Lightning 18 and Lightning 24. The 18 version does 2k damage in a decent area, and the 24 version does 10k. As best as I can tell, this damage ignores all damage resistance, because I never saw them do less than 10k. And I was going up against Dreamers with 50% or higher damage resist. You can even use them against Silo and Monolith bosses, though I really recommend against that. I'll get to that in a moment. Now, if you're in a dream zone that has lightning strikes going on, this damage can get much higher. It does seem to be a bit random, but I've seen strikes for 25k damage for the Lightning 24 orbs. So far, sounds great, right? AoE, high damage, what's not to love? The cost, that's what's not to love. There's a reason I am doing this on a private server. The low tier version takes 200 copper, bronze, or steel bars for each orb. And the 24s, 200 aluminum or tungsten bars. It took me over 10 orbs to kill the monolith version of Ravenous Hunter. Over 2,000 tungsten bars to take out the weakest monolith boss. Like I said, don't ever actually try this on a public server. Not unless you just want to flex with how awesome your acid farm is. With all that said, how'd it go? Well, as you see in the background, pretty good. No, at least at first. I targeted a level 18 hunter first and did the full chain. Light Dreamer, Isekai. Deep Dreamer, easy as pie. Now, the Eternal Dreamer version of Ravenous Hunter certainly did not take me down, because I forgot how rocket spammy the Eternal version is. And I absolutely didn't forget to craft adrenaline shots, and there certainly isn't any video of me taking a quick, if embarrassing, trip back to base before finishing off the Hunter. Because that would mean I forgot to launch OBS in admin mode. Oh well, this challenge isn't scuffed at all. Nope. Perfectly normal, technically competent challenge. Foreshadowing is a literary device where next on the chopping block is a level 24 secret servitor. This time I skipped the Light Dreamer and went straight in for the heavy, which fell pretty easily. And then I took on the Eternal Dreamer. Super fast fight, no problems. I briefly considered taking on a level 45 Araxium, but decided on the level 35 instead to keep a more even progression. It was also at this point that I had taken notice of the lack of damage reduction, and I went straight in. No deep dreamers taken out. Fight lasted a little longer than the previous ones, but another easy down. Now, keep in mind when I say easy, I am tossing 20 plus orbs, maybe even 30 plus per fight. Wasn't really keeping track. I went through hundreds of orbs with this silly little idea, which would have normally cost tens of thousands of tungsten or aluminum bars. So, yeah. Easy's kind of relative here. And this is where I scupper the entire challenge. See, things were going pretty easy. So I wanted to see if I could take on one of the strongest Eternals. But the icon detail said they were hidden until a later phase. Alright, not a problem. I'll just log off and go into settings and... Huh? Data corruption? Yeah, whatever. I'm the only one on this server. I'll deal with whatever oddness crops up. Huh. Still locked. Huh. Everything is locked. Oops. Every single Eternal Dreamer that I hadn't already fought is now hidden until a later phase. So, if you have a private server, pay attention to that warning. They ain't joking. I could still fight Deep and Light Dreamers, so I took on a level 75 Deep Dreamer, and failed completely. So I took on a level 75 Light Dreamer, and failed completely. I was able to take out a level 40 Deep Dreamer without much issue, but the level 75s? Nah, not happening. Even though the orbs do true damage and ignore all defense, that damage does not scale. And thus ends this utterly scuffed challenge. So how many Eternals can I solo kill with Lightning Orbs? A few. I can kill a few. If you were entertained by the video, a thumbs up would be appreciated. If not, well, the thumbs down button is right next to it. Until next time.